What's up guys, Matt here, and today we are back in Car Mechanic Simulator and we're looking for a pretty special car. And yes, this is a 2JZ Prius. If you missed that one, it's my latest upload. That was a ton of fun. But let's go find a car I've been wanting to find for a very long time. And there it is. After hours of searching, I finally found Dom Toretto's Dodge Charger. It can only be found in the barns. So I kept having to go to the junkyard, get a map, and try over and over and over for hours. But we found it. Finally. I am so excited. I've been wanting to do this car for so long. Just look at it. And even cooler that it's a barn find. That just tops it off. We are for sure buying this car. I've been hunting it for quite some time. Buy price, $41,730. Fine by me. What's the factory horsepower? 917 out of a V8 Hemi 446 pack. Obviously, we've got swap options down here, and we're going to change that to the V8 2-carb, overhead valve, supercharged, like it should be. Man, I'm excited about this. Let's get this thing bought and sent to our garage. Yes, straight to the garage. We're going to build Dom Toretto's Dodge Charger. And here it is in our garage, missing a whole quarter panel, but that's fine. We are here to repair this thing, bring it back to its former glory. Let's send it over to the car wash and see what color it is. I can only guess. Of course it's black. In my previous build, the Toyota Prius, 2JZ Toyota Prius, I said I'm excited for the next car coming up. It's a car from a movie. Hidden, you guessed it, and Code Red Chevy guessed it. Dodge Charger. It just took a lot of work searching barns. It's probably on my 14th or 15th barn when I finally came across it. But man, it's here now, and that's all that matters. I'm super excited. Let's get this thing up in the air, start draining fluids, and get this thing ready for a full-on restoration and rebuild. Well, there is no oil because there is no oil pan. We can see the crankshaft right there, so we don't even need this thing. We can put it right back to where it came from. Let's get this hood up. Obviously, this is an engine cover. We'll get that out of the way and start pulling fluids out of here. Well, we're missing a brake booster, so we don't need to worry about that. And we're obviously missing our power steering reservoir and our radiator and all of that. So really, no fluids to worry about whatsoever. This thing's been pretty cannibalized, it seems like. So back up in the air to pull out the drivetrain, and we'll get this engine out of here. Out comes the drive shaft, and we can spin around, grab the starter. Do have some stuck bolts on this, as to be expected. She's rough and missing parts, a good amount of them. And we can get this gearbox out and expose our clutch set. There we go. And get our clutch pressure plate out. More stuck bolts. Off it comes. Onto the clutch. And our flywheel. I think we're ready to pull this thing out. I feel like this teardown is going to go pretty quick because there's not a whole lot here. Use the engine crane, and we pulled out our 6-pack Hemi. Throw this on the engine stand. We're probably just going to tear it all down and scrap the parts because we are building a supercharged V8 for this thing. Let's begin teardown. We'll start with the air filter cover, air filter, and the base. These 6-packs are cool. I dig them with the 3 carburetors. That one, middle one, and finally the rear one. Figured that one would have stuck bolts. It looked like it was the one in the worst shape out of all 3. Out it comes. We'll grab this fuel filter while we're right here. We can get our upper intake manifold or our intake manifold out of here. I feel like we're gonna hear that spray a lot with this engine. Lots and lots of stuck fasteners. Let's go ahead and remove our ignition wires here. Then move on to all our spark plugs. Final one there. Let's spin around and start pulling stuff off the front, shall we? Let's get this serpentine belt A, then B. We can pull our alternator from here. The bracket, or the arm they call it, water pump pulley. Let's grab this power steering pump while we're right here. Oil filter. Gotta get this arm. Then I think we can get the water pump. Yep, indeed. Off it comes. get our coil right there. Harmonic balancer can come off and expose our timing set. Once we get all of these out of the way, now we've got our timing chain, cam gear. Go ahead and start pulling apart the distributor cap. Oh, we got a clip over here. Get the cap off, the rotor off, and the housing can come on out. We're ready to pull our camshaft. Start pulling off the engine head cover on this side. I'm really excited for this car. Then we've got our rocker arms here. It's kind of nice on these. It's all comes off together like that and makes it pretty simple. We get our push rods out of the way. I bet these are probably in rough shape and a little bent up. Because I saw it said in the info, 290,000 miles on this car. Who knows how much is on this engine. See how much carbon buildup we have in the cylinder. Yeah, that's a lot. All right, we got that side done. On to the other side. Now we are ready to flip this thing over. Don't have to worry about removing an oil pan. That's been done for us. And some of the rod caps, it seems. We got one here. We're missing a crankshaft bearing right there too. Wonder what happened in here. I wonder what the story is with this guy. Bring out that piston, and we'll just get all these others taken care of. Last piston out of the way, we can grab this crankshaft bearing cap. Grab our crankshaft, and then we'll be able to pull our block, I believe. That's it. Completely torn down. Time to start tearing down suspension parts. Let's get these wheels and tires off of here. Move on to brake caliper. Brake disc, or brake pads, sorry. Brake disc, there we go. Wheel hub cap. Get the bearing out. Wheel hub itself. Out it comes, and we get the knuckle cover off of there. Let's get our upper control arm here. Our shock set. Go ahead and grab this outer tie rod since it's right here, as well as our inner tie rod and our front sway bar end link there. Lower control arm. Then the steering knuckle can come out. And grab our rubber bushings on this side. Then we'll move on to the other side. Now we can pull our front sway bar, steering rack, and the whole cross member can drop on out onto the rear. Get the wheel and tire off here. Exposes a very old school setup. Tried and true. Brake disc comes out. Solid rear axle. It's been a while since I've done anything with a leaf spring rear end. It's kind of nice to get back to some of these older cars. I miss doing a lot of these. Get that U-bolt. Get this one. We are ready to remove our plate. Get our small rubber bushing there. And the one back there. There we go. Out it comes. We can remove our leaf spring, our shock absorber. And that is that side torn down. Very simple. On to the other side. Rear shock absorber can come out, and now we just take the whole knuckle housing out. Let's jump up here and grab the fuel tank. No fuel pump there to even have to worry about. That is our whole suspension system torn down. Let's get onto the body stuff here. Remove our hood, fender, both fenders. Oh yeah, let's pull off that whole grill, front bumper here. There we go. Headlights. I think that grill. There we go. Just have to be patient with it. And we can take our doors out, working backwards now, windshield. And can we, yeah, we can remove the whole quarter panel just like that. Let's get our rear trunk window. If we pull this whole thing off, I think most everything will come, and indeed it does. Oh, this whole thing comes off right there. How about that? That's pretty cool. No, the roll cage and everything is part of the body. How about that? And interior wise, just pull out the seat and steering wheel. While we've got it all torn down, let's go ahead and straighten up the whole frame and everything by using the welder, and back it can go. This is torn down to bare bones. That is for sure. Okay, time to separate our shock set here. And now is the part where I repair and replace all the things I can repair and replace all the things I need to replace. Definitely with some speed parts, but I'm not going to make you guys sit through all that tedious work. It'll be the blink of an eye for you, and we'll be back to building up our engine. All right, let's get this engine put together, shall we? We've got the block. I installed the crankshaft, and now we will go on to installing all the pistons, all the rod caps, and the crankshaft bearing caps. And there's our final crankshaft bearing cap. We can throw on our oil pan now. And while we're down here, let's throw on our oil filter right there. I suppose, since it's flipped over, makes it easy to install the power steering pump performance. I bought a lot of performance parts for this and even upgraded some. Didn't have a whole lot of scrap left over, but enough to do some nice upgrades. Flip this thing back over and we can work on our timing set here. Cam gear. Distributor. Oh, I'd already installed the camshaft as well, obviously. Fuel filter. We'll grab that while we're right here. Oh, might as well install the timing chain. We're going to want that, so that way we can put on our timing cover. On it goes. From there, we could do our water pump. Harmonic balancer. Let's grab that right there. And our water pump pulley. Serpentine belt, B, to run the power steering pump. Let's go ahead and throw on our coil and finish off the distributor here. Get the rotor on and the cap on. Make it easier for us to put our clips on before we get this big old supercharger put in its place. Now we can run over here, put on an engine head. Performance, of course. It'll be exciting to see how much horsepower we get out of this thing once we get it all put together and tuned. Now we've got all of our push rods, as well as all of our rocker arms. That goes on. We can put our head cover on and get it all cinched down, and then move on to, let's throw on the spark plugs before we throw on our headers. There we go, performance spark plugs, as well as our performance header. Let's get that on there, nice and shiny. Beautiful. Look at those welds. How about that? And our final fastener there. Awesome, that's that side done. On to the other. Now we can throw on our spark plug wires. There we go. Get that on there. And we can do our supercharger intake manifold. So nice and shiny. Now we can do our supercharger. Look at this thing. I love it. And our performance carburetors. Upgraded. And the supercharger is upgraded as well. Now we can do our air filters, performance of course, and the scoop. Now we can jump over and install our supercharger belt. Nice. Now we can do the serpentine belt for the alternator and our radiator fan. And that to me looks completed. A gorgeous, and look at the size of that thing. I love it. Perfect. Let's go put it in the car. Got our engine crane in place. Let's install our engine. Look at that. That's awesome. Oh, I love it. Okay, this can go back to where it came from. And now we can start working on, let's do our suspension. Why not? Got our cross member in. Let's go ahead and throw in our steering rack, front sway bar there. We can do our inner tie rod. There it is. Spin around here, grab this steering knuckle, install that so we can install our outer tie rod. Just like that. Lower control arm. And its rubber bushings. Get that all fastened down. We can now install our shock set and our sway bar front end link. Just like that. Now we can do our upper control arm and its corresponding rubber bushings. Front knuckle cover there. We can do our front wheel hub. Move on to the bearing and the wheel hub cap to keep that bearing clean and dry. Carbon ceramic disc brakes, we're going to need those, I feel like, because we're going to be pushing some horsepower out of this thing and we're going to need to stop. Brake caliper, and from there we can install our wheel and tire set. Just like that. That's that side done. On to the other side. Onto the rear, let's get our axle housing installed, as well as this leaf spring, this shock absorber bolted in. We can put on our leaf spring plate, as well as our 2 U-bolts. There's one and the other. And before I forget, let's install the small rubber bushing that goes on either end of the leaf spring. There we go. Fasten that down. We're good to go on the rear knuckle there. Wheel hub 3 there. We've got solid drive axle. Brake disc, carbon ceramic once again. Brake pad, caliper. On it goes. And I believe that's pretty much it. It's so simple. Such a simple, timeless design. Now that is that side done, onto the other side. Look at those slicks. We're gonna need them. Let's get our fuel tank installed. And it goes, as well as the performance fuel pump. Time to move on to the driveline, flywheel installed, clutch installed, performance and performance pressure plate. That was a performance flywheel as well. We want to try to keep this thing as performanced out as we possibly can. I got a adjustable gearbox for that to help us, because I feel like we're going to need that. Starter, in it goes, spin around, and now we can install our drive shaft, and that shall complete our drive line. We can move on to exhaust, which is pretty simple on this thing. Just a front exhaust piece there and an exhaust piece there. The rest of it is kind of a body situation. There we go. Dumps right in front of the rear axle. Very cool. Let's lower this thing down and take care of some of the under the hood stuff here. Get our radiator in. In it goes. Windshield washer reservoir. Spin around here. Put in our brake servo there. Brake booster. Battery. Power steering reservoir there. And it looks like we get it all. That looks good to me. On to the body stuff. Let's do interior first. I guess that would make more sense, right? Pretty much just 2 seats and a steering wheel. Simple enough. Onto the body. Let's get the main section here on there, just like that. See, there's so many different options. Again, give credit where credit is due. This is a mod by Payne. You can build this car several different ways. And eventually I will. I feel like a General Lee would be kind of nice to do. And I've had a few people ask me about that as well. Let's get this front grille in just like that. Right headlight. Left headlight. front clamshell there. And then our front bumper. I believe that's it. Yeah, no license plate in the front on this thing. We can get this fender on, as well as this door. Windshield, gonna want that. Wing window. A quarter window there and a quarter panel there, as well as a gas cap. I'm sure I've missed something. Of course I have. The whole rear end of the car. To left taillight, right taillight, rear bumper. I believe, yes, license plate. I picked California. Picked the correct numbers and letters there. Ah, yes, cannot forget the rear view mirror or the passenger side wing window. So there is like an engine cover here for people, I'm guessing, that don't use the supercharged version. But as you can see, if I install it, it looks a little funny. The two are kind of fighting with each other, so that's fine. We'll take it off. We'll leave it off until if and when we sell it. Let us do our fluids. Let's start with the windshield washer fluid. And it goes. Power steering fluid, brake fluid, and engine oil. That is that done. Now let's go paint it. Doesn't really look like it needs it, right? But this one is not the same color. This quarter panel here is not the same color as the rest of the car. Let's go take care of that. There's some cool Mopar style liveries here with the some of the stripes around the trunk and stuff. Oh, this is cool. An old cup car livery. That is very cool. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to do this one soon. Gloss black, you know it. There it goes. Got it all aligned. Looks good. And so does that car. Look at that. That's so iconic. Oh, I love it. Let's see if she'll start up. I want to hear what this thing sounds like with this supercharger. Oh yeah, it starts. Oh yeah. Love it. All right. Time to see what we make at the dyno. Before we do that, got to get the tuning just right. We got 2 carburetors to tune here. And here we go. We've got a factory horsepower rating of 1,260 horsepower, 1,722 pound-feet of torque. Hopefully we'll be able to beat that. I think we will. I mean, it's a built supercharged V8, but we shall see. And the survey says 2,361 horsepower, 3,212 pound-feet of torque. We gained 1,101 horsepower and 1,490. Let's call it 1,500 pound-feet of torque. Obviously giving us a drag rating of 999. This is going to be a fun car to go drag race. And speaking of, let's go do that. And here we are, quarter mile A-Class. Let's do it. Let's see who we're up against. We are up against a Ford Mustang Drag, and he's got a V8 Supercharged 2 overhead cam. And there it is, right there. Full-on drag car. Let's see how we do. Oh yeah, it launches. And I think we got him. I believe we did. Oh man, this thing launches. A quarter mile, 8.7 in the quarter to his 9.5. This thing flies. Wow. Reaction time of 0.1. Yeah, he definitely had a better reaction time. Next race, we are going up against a Ferrari 250 GT Berlinetta. I want to do one of these so bad. That'll be soon. There it is right there. All right, let's see how we do. I'm just trying not to red light this thing. Oh yeah, we got him. For sure. Let's see if I can beat the previous quarter mile. 8.8, not quite, but man, this is fun. Oh man, we're going up against a unicorn. I don't like that all-wheel drive. Let's see. Fingers crossed. There it is. I love that version of the unicorn. I love every version of the unicorn. Who's kidding? All right, let's try it. Oh, he's gone. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, I mean, it's a unicorn. We got outraced there. 8.8, so I was still pretty consistent. But yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? Let's see who wins it all. And it would be The unicorn, go figure. But hey, at least we made some money. 2,250. I'll take it. Such a gorgeous looking car, and yeah, I had to pull the Eclipse out of the garage for this one just to see them next to each other. Let's put that cover on, get the car to 100% completed, and see what we would have made, because I'm not selling this thing. I'm hanging on to it. We would have made a profit of $115,000, sale value of $156,954. Let's call it $157,000. But it's staying with me. I want to do as many Fast and the Furious cars as I possibly can and keep them just to have. This thing is way too much fun on the drag strip to get rid of. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you want to see me build next. I'm always open to, I love every type of car. It doesn't have to be old, it could be new, whatever. Just let me know what you'd like to see. I would be happy to entertain that. Guys, if you made it this far in the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. It truly helps me out, like a lot. As always, guys, I appreciate you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.